guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're back here in my backyard for a very special reason. It's this car right here, and guess what? It's gonna be disappearing after 2022. This is a new 2022 Kia Stinger GT line. Our particular one is the all-wheel drive version. But before we get into this sexy sportback styled sedan, say that 20 times fast, let's talk about what's going on here. Kia. We all know, we've been discussing it day in and day out here on Raiti's Rides, how they are doing the business in the auto industry with some great style, some great value, and of course that warranty protection that nobody else can match. Now, the Stinger was the initial start of this influx of extra style and really getting the Kia name noticed across the United States. It appeared in 2017, going into 2018, and really changed the name of the game for Kia. Obviously, following the Stinger would be vehicles like the Telluride, the Seltos, the K5, so on and so forth. Well, guess what? The Stinger is still around, and for 2022, Kia decided to make some changes. And what's interesting is that there's actually bigger changes on the GT line than there is to the GT. One of those big changes being all-wheel drive and more horsepower. Now, when it comes to this size of sports sedan, there are a few choices out there, even from the competition from its sister brand Genesis with the G70. But what I want to do is I want to compare it to another sports sedan standout. That's going to be the Acura TLX. So let's go ahead, let's find out. Should you be spending your money on this Stinger GT line, or should you go the TLX route, maybe even TLX A-Spec when you look at the price point? So let's go ahead, let's dive into our brand new, this is a new color, this Ascot green Stinger GT line, and see which way you should spend your hard-earned money. Right off the bat, the style. They did some refresh, but they kept the specific Stinger lines there intact. At the front of the business, they reworked the headlight housing. So you're gonna get new LED daytime running lamps. And I'm telling you, seeing these going down the road, having them separated like that in the four segments of daytime running lamp makes it stand out. You got full LED lighting and LED turn signals as well. Working your way down, we have these massive functional corner air intakes. Now, when you're comparing this to the TLX, that's something that the TLX does not have, are those functional side air intakes for the air curtains. And really, beauty's gonna be in the eye of the beholder, but definitely a nice Euro style on this Kia, even though Kia is not a Euro brand. So very interesting how they took that design philosophy from the European market. Now, as we come across the front grille area, you're gonna notice a few things. First of all, we got the Tiger Nose grille. This is specific to Kia. I like all the dark chrome finishes, the dark chrome around the perimeter, and then you got the updated Kia badge. My one zonk, and it's gonna be the same zonk for Acura as well, is gonna be the large plastic panel here that's gonna, have all that technology lurking behind it, but it kind of just looks out of place. I wish there was a cleaner way to hide that technology. On the lower side of things, we have full functionality with the gloss black, more of that dark chrome, and you do have some fake vents on the inside. So on each side of that lower grille portion are gonna be the fake vents, so we are gonna have to zonk those, but I do love the way they work the lower lip. Definitely looks more aggressive on the Stinger GT line compared to the TLX A-Spec. Now, when we get up onto that hood, same thing. They could have just kept it simple, flat, but they didn't. You got some nice body lines that rise up. I'm digging these two panels that they have, but the one thing I don't dig is that they're not functional. So you do have fake vents on the hood. Would have been nice if they were heat extractors, especially because we have more horsepower for 2022 on the GT line. Now, coming around the bend, what do we got? New wheels and tires. So on our GT line, you're gonna see the new style that we have really works well with our particular setup. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of this wheel? It's an 18-inch wheel. It actually looks bigger. I thought it was a 19 or a 20-inch wheel. 18-inch wheel. I love the machined aluminum, the way they styled the wheel. Very unique, definitely better looking wheel than the TLX A-Spec. And obviously, we're not comparing it to the Type S. Type S would have to be the Stinger GT. This we're comparing to the A-Spec TLX. You'll see our standard ventilated rotor setup on here. And of course, they reworked the suspension for 2022 to give us better grip, especially with the all-wheel drive. If you're wondering, well, what's the size of these tires? 225 on the width, and you got a 45 series sidewall with these Bridgestone Sport Potenza tires to give us that grip. Now coming down the side, that sparkling green, we do have functional side venting as well. I like the dark chrome finish and how the body lines just flow off of that vent on the side. We got the dark chrome mirror caps. And what's wonderful is that when you lock the vehicle, we actually have electric folding side mirrors. So watch, when I go to get in, they swing out, the dark chrome finish, dark chrome up top, flat black on the bottom. We got an oversized sunroof. My one zonk though, please paint the whole freaking roof black. It would look so much cleaner instead of this whole big black section and then green section back here. Paint it all black, make it look all nice color match, but it's nice that you have a little bit larger sunroof. I love the way they work, all the folds on the side of the vehicle. And then working towards the rear, you got that sexy sportback design, flows nicely. Remember, there's no actual trunk. This whole back lifts up like a hatchback or sportback, whereas the TLX has a more traditional trunk. Coming around, I hate these ladyfingers. They remind me of ladyfinger cookies. I don't know why they did the reflectors like this. I know why they did it. It's DOT required, but I wish there was a cleaner way to style it than like a big middle finger on the side of the vehicle like that. But the way they do the taillights, spot on the money, LED, updated for 2022. Love the way it lights up all the way across. You got your GT line badge. They did the Stinger badge, really great. Almost looks like an Alfa Romeo product. And then guess what? We got new exhaust outlets. Not the actual tips, but the decorative outlet rings. The trim rings look great. They are functional. And I gotta zonk this lower fake vent area. Just keep it smooth, guys. Why do we have to put all this grill design? And then you got that simulated rear diffuser, looking clean. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk performance numbers in our Stinger. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hydraulic hood struts. You'll notice the bracing that they put even on the GT line to stiffen up the front end of the structure. And then what do we have? Tasteful engine cover. This obviously is based off of a rear-wheel drive platform, where the TLX is based off of a front-wheel drive platform. But we have that all-wheel drive, nicely optioned for 2022. And what are we talking about numbers? 2.5 liter turbocharged inline four, 45 more horsepower than last year. That's going to give us 300 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're wondering, Joe, is that more horsepower than the TLX? You better bet your bottom dollar, because the TLX puts out 272 horsepower. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic. The TLX has a 10-speed automatic, so we got 2 less gears, but 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. The vehicle weighs around 3,800 pounds. Quarter mile goes by in 14 seconds flat. MPGs 22 in the city, 32 on the highway. I like the way you could easily see the engine, the turbocharger, the whole 9 yards. But why don't we go ahead, they reworked the exhaust, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Kia Stinger GT line with all-wheel drive. I know you're saying, well, Joe, I've been looking at TLXs. There's just something about them that I'm not sold on. I've always liked the Kia, but I didn't want a Stinger GT. But the GT line seemed like it didn't have enough horsepower, but now 300 horsepower, wow. How much is this Stinger GT line? So you're looking at an MSRP right around $42,200. To put it in perspective for you, The all-wheel drive option is $2,200, and it's the only way to get a heated steering wheel, believe it or not. So if you want a heated steering wheel, you got to pay $2,200 extra, but then you get all-wheel drive for free. So I guess you could put it that way. But let's see, for $42,200, how does it stack up against the TLX A-Spec? To the door panels. Love the clean German Euro styling, even though this is not a German branded car. Soft touch material up top. Love the contrast stitching, the speaker grille covers. There is a bit of gloss black, nothing too heavy though. Silver on the door handle pull, the nice soft armrest. Door pocket's a little tight, so maybe one Chipotle burrito, go light on the sour cream and the extra onions, and a bottle of sun-kissed orange soda to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I've always liked the way they style it. Soft touch material, the stitch work, the silver trim, and then looky what we got. For 2022, we now have more than 8 inches. We have a 10.25-inch infotainment system screen, same size as the TLX, but guess what? Your TLX can't do this. You touch it and it does things. So we have a functional touch screen on our actual infotainment system here, which is great. Obviously, you could bring over your clock. We could scroll. Look at this. Do that on your TLX? I don't think so. But nice to have that easy functionality there. And then you bring it right back and you want to make it go away. There it goes. It's gone. Pull this guy up. Look at all the different icons we have. We have more icons than Baskin-Robbins has flavors of ice cream. The sounds of nature. You got your climate controls you could get into. Swipe over, everything, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then let's see the backup camera. Not too bad. Of course, we got our Sentry. Right now, somebody's standing right there. I'm probably gonna back over them. I don't know who they are. They're kind of scaring me. They're watching us film. So if we don't make it out of this alive, please call the police for us. You know what happened. There was somebody here. But you go back to map. Here's our location right in my backyard. Love the way they did the AC vents. Very Mercedes-Benz-ish. You got your silver start-stop button. Slim and trim on everything. Dual climate control, which is great. And then you're going to get a ton. Somebody spilled a bucket of gloss black. So I'm not loving that. Lots of fingerprints and goo can get all over it. But the good news is, open up this door, we got wireless charging, you got a 12 volt and a USB-A there. We have the F-16 fighter jet throttle control, drive, neutral, reverse. You tilt it over and then guess what? You could go up and down the gears in the 8-speed automatic, put it back in the park. 2 cup holders. We got our drive mode selector knob, heated seats, no ventilated seats. Let me know if you think that should be a zonk. We do have the ability to pull up our camera real easy by just hitting the camera button here. Look, map, camera, map, camera. So nice to have that usability. We got our nice little Tootsie Roll holder. Love the way they did the stitching. Open this up. Wow. Check it out. You could put that little porcelain doll that your grandmother gave you right when you graduated from high school. You could keep that in there and it's not going to get scratched. And you could open it up and think about your grandmother. Think about all that she did for you and those sacrifices. Remember that. Picking you up from school every day? Yeah, that was your grandma. What's nice is you could put her favorite ribbon candy in here that she used to love to eat every time you saw her. So keep some ribbon candy, that hard ribbon candy in here for your grandma when you pick her up and take her out to lunch. Just don't take her to some fast food place, you cheapo. Seats, I love the GT line and the headrest. Nice soft material, good bolstering. We got electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, of course. And then just when you thought it was over, there's that oversized sunroof. It's like a sunroof and a half. Nice one-touch operation. Look, grandma, no hands, or like in my family, because we're Italian, we call our grandmas nanny. Look, nanny, no hands. But why don't you come over here? I want to show you behind this leather, flat bottom, wrap steering wheel in the GT line. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. We go down into the foot box. I do like the way it's got an aluminum dead pedal, nice size, brake pedal and throttle. You got your power seat controls right on the side there and the lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall and I love the way everything is laid out in here. It almost feels a little bit larger than a TLX A-Spec. And that's interesting because remember, the TLX grew a little bit for the current generation. There she is. Flat bottom steering wheel like I promised, the GT line badge, nice leather, notches at 10 and 2. You got your paddles to go up and down, that 8-speed automatic. And then you're gonna have a mixture of analog gauges with that small digital display, backlit LED tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, and coolant gauge. And then you could scroll through information in the center, really nicely laid out. And it's a tilting and telescoping steering wheel. But why don't we get into the back seat and see if your passengers are gonna be cramped in this sexy sloping roof in our GT line. All right guys, back seat time, and you know what? It really is a mixed bag because yes, you are losing a little bit of headroom because of the sexy sloping roof, but you know what? You do have plenty of space back here, and I like the way the seats kind of tilt back a little bit, just naturally gives you a nice open feel. Now, one of the things I don't like is the plastic, but I know how the parents feel out there. Your kids, they punch the back of the seat and they bother you. My father would say, stop hitting the seat or I'm gonna give you something to cry about. That's what he would say. We do have those pesky cargo nets. Not my favorite, especially if you were to put something sharp in here, it's just gonna rip right through it. So if your kids like to play with sharp objects, don't have them put them in here. And my advice is probably seek some help if they like to play with sharp objects. We do have rear AC vents, and they look just as cool or as hot as the ones up front, depending on what the temperature is set to. You got your 12 volt and your USB-C. Tell your kids to not stick their fingers and other things in that 12 volt because it's gonna hurt. Leg room, I feel great. Pull this bad boy down, semi-soft, but you got 2 large cup holders for those super Slurpees. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the best part where the Stinger is gonna lay the smack down on the TLX. It's that cargo area. Let's go check it out. One area where the Stinger is gonna slam dunk the TLX A-Spec is gonna be cargo space. Watch this. It's not electric assist on the GT line, but you just use a little bit of fling and it goes right up. Look at what you get. Massive cargo space. There's some SUVs, some small SUVs that don't even have this much cargo space that we featured on Raiti's Rides. But what are we looking at? With the seats up, you're looking at 23.3 cubic feet of space. Fold the seats down, it goes to 40.9 cubic feet of space. That really showcases the flexibility, the usability, the versatility, and all the other words you could think of that end like versatility with this Stinger GT line. But if you're ready, I'm freaking ready. Let's go on throttle and see if we could feel those extra 45 horsepower in our 2022 Stinger GT line. All right, guys, we're in this 2022 Stinger GT line with all-wheel drive. I'm gonna manually shift with the paddles. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Pulls all the way to red line. Nice grip. Brakes feel good. Fast shifts from the 8-speed. It's interesting how different this handles compared to the TLX A-Spec, because remember, the TLX set up on that front-wheel drive chassis, this being set up on a rear-wheel drive chassis, both of them with all-wheel drive, the super handling all-wheel drive on the TLX A-Spec, and the all-wheel drive new for 2022 on this GT line. Actually, not too shabby on the feedback. I think the thing that's holding it back is this 8-speed automatic. It shifts well, but when you put it in manual shift mode, especially on the downshifts, it really will not let you downshift freely to really feel connected to the vehicle and let you be in the rev range where you want to be in. Now, getting to the 10.25-inch infotainment system is well within reach. I love the way the cockpit is laid out. I don't need a full digital dash. You're not getting a digital dash in the TLX A-Spec, and you don't get a full digital dash in this vehicle either. The color to me is definitely a cool standout. I'm glad that they brought it for 2022. And that cargo space is flat out just ridiculous how much space that you're getting. When it comes to power, you're definitely feeling the extra horsepower in this 2022 model compared to a 2021. I mean, over 40 extra horsepower, you're gonna feel it. It's not like 5 or 10 extra horsepower. So definitely feels quicker and is quicker than a TLX A-Spec. All right, guys, once again, we're gonna come to a complete stop. Manual shift with the paddles. On throttle, here we go. Wow. I tell you, once the boost kicks in, really does a great job with acceleration. Here we go. On the brakes. The grip is really substantial in this thing. Nice, look at that. Woo! Really fun to drive, I'm telling you. Pulls out of the corner really well in that sweet spot. Upshifts are fast, downshifts are a little hesitant, and that's a little bit of my hang up. Obviously the sound getting pumped into the interior. They did rework the exhaust sound a little bit in sport mode, so it does sound a little throatier, but could use a little bit more tweaking. But definitely from a handling standpoint, the way the front of the car communicates with the rear and sends all that feedback through the steering wheel is really nicely done. Could use a little bit more, and that's where the TLX A-Spec really shines, is not only with the 10-speed automatic, but also with that new double wishbone front suspension and the feedback to the steering wheel. The steering wheel feels better just from a material standpoint, from a thickness standpoint, but also just gives you more info that you want. All right, guys, one more time for you, definitely one more time for me. It is sad that they are killing this car off. Would be great to see it redesigned with even more power, more performance. But here we go, using the paddle still. That's definitely what I find is the better way to shift. I feel like the 8-speed automatic gets a little hung up when you want to be in that sweet spot. But here we go, on throttle. Yeah! On the brakes. I'm telling you, the way the car handles is very, very surprising in a good way. So really, really nicely done. I think for the price, you're definitely getting a lot of car for the money. People think it's costing more just by looking at it, sitting still in a parking lot. But hopefully this is giving you some good info, especially if you are looking at this compared to, say, something like an A-Spec TLX. But we're gonna get back to where this all started and wrap it up, so I'll see you in a split second. And another fun-filled day with this Kia Stinger GT line. I definitely want to thank everybody over at Kia for allowing Raity's Rides access to this Presley vehicle. Let me know what you think. Stinger GT line, last year of the Stinger, are you gonna put your money on this over a TLX A-Spec? Let me know in the comment section. But until we drive on throttle again together, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the hardest working videographer in the whole freaking world, Lori, working that camera like a champ. Show us some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.